Well, good evening everybody and welcome to live coverage of round 11 of the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship here, live and exclusive on the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. Big night tonight in the championship because, as I say, it's not just round 11, it's also the last round where the Dallara F3 comes out to play this season, which means we will see crowned tonight our Simutec Technology's F3 Cup winners within this series, both in Class 1 and Class 2. Top performing drivers get a free driver coaching session at the fantastic centre that Simutec Technologies have down in Milton Keynes. My name's Andrew Mather, alongside me in the virtual commentary box as ever, but we'll be honest, we'll let you in on the secret. It looked in question earlier tonight. Is my good friend Howard Mitchell. Howard, how are we doing?
I'm doing all right at the moment, mate. Yes, hello to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. And, yes, we'll just summarise it saying I've been a bit under the weather today. Maybe not firing on all cylinders, indeed. But I'm feeling good for now, and I'm very glad that's the case, because it means that I get to join you once again for some Club 100 iRacing action, and we've had a lot of fun, I think, every time that we've raced our single seaters, competing, as you say, for that fantastic Simutec prize. So, yeah, really looking forward to it, mate. Really looking forward to it, just so long as I can hold out.
We also want to give our thanks to our full season sponsors as well, Simply Catnip and G3 Pro. Do check out the details about them in the description below. Howard, let's have a look though at those Simutec F3 mini-series scores, because those really are some of the key ones tonight. Josh Ladd leads the championship, the mini-championship as it were, 200 points, so it's very straightforward in more ways than one tonight. If Josh Ladd wins the round, he wins the prize of going to Simutec's studio in Milton Keynes, and he wins the championship overall. That's a far more complicated situation though, with drop scores and all the rest of that. Michael Preston is second on 195, James Montgomery third on 193, Sam Sanders fourth on 192. You'd probably say that's where it's going to be one of those four that take the F3 prize, but I'm not completely going to rule out Charlie Summers, who was very strong at Silverstone the last time we saw the F3s out for this one. They're on 190 points. Tom Dix is next on in sixth on 186. Ben Bennyworth on 177. The man that we really want to keep an eye out though tonight for is Christopher Powell, the newly married Christopher Powell,
indeed,
from earlier on today,
yes.
is back in the sim this evening to try and win the award in Class 2. He's got a 6-point advantage, and so yeah, if he can hold on for that ahead of the rest of the C2 chargers, those being James Fremont, Tom Kempink, Murray Adams, Craig Brown, Matt Hale. The nature of Class 2, I think that one is more open. Because all it takes is for a bit of an issue in the midfield, and that really could change things. But best of luck to all of those drivers competing for those prizes tonight. Running down the rest of the order.
Yep. Still very close in the mid-pack as well, Andrew, so there's still plenty of stuff to race for pride. And it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out.
And as we say, we have also got still our full championship, sponsored by G3 Pro and Simply Catnip, and Club 100 carrying on as well. 3 rounds of it to go here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. Also Interlagos and Suzuka to come up as well. But with the nature of the drop scores, it's the best 9 round scores out of the 13 rounds this season. So we're at that stage, ladies and gentlemen, where we have got what I like to call a championship representative score to tell you about. And it means that at the moment, Sam Sanders leads the championship if you take those best 9 scores on 875. But, and it's a very big but, Josh Ladd has a big drop score that he could get rid of tonight. So at the moment, in his best 9, of 873, there's an 81 in there, which was our round from Indianapolis. Now, if Josh Ladd was to win tonight, that 81 would be out of there. It would be gone, and it would move him up into a position where his points tally over the best 9 scores would be unassailable. In short, if Josh Ladd wins the round here tonight, he wins the championship. It doesn't matter what happens at Interlagos. It doesn't matter what happens at Suzuka, and he'll be the champion for the second year in a row, whilst it's been in this fuller format. Michael Preston is still there though in third. He really is in a way the closest challenger. He also has big gains to be made in the drops on the drop score front, so he's already dropped an 83 out of 100 score. He could drop tonight an 89. That's the thing for Sam Sanders' scores. His worst score is a 94. There's less room for him to improve from where he is at the moment. Our followers in the BUKC CLUB100 will get that as from previous years, and if you're not quite sure about it yet, stick with us more here on DDM. We'll be talking about drop scores a lot over the next few weeks. But Michael Preston's there on 871. Charlie Summers is fourth on 849, looking pretty good for fourth place at the moment, but will want to close this season out. Could be getting rid of an 85 here tonight. James Montgomery is in a solid fifth place on 839 of the best 9 scores so far. He's got a good lead over Cameron Watson in 6th, Tom Dix in 7th on 789. One of the really interesting stories though this season though, Howard, is the battle for C2. I can guarantee that will not be decided here tonight. We will not know who gets the free drive in an endurance race in Club 100 in 2023 from Class 2 tonight. Matt Hale currently leads it on 788, but on the best 9 scores he's only got a 4-point advantage over Christopher Powell, who himself only has a 5-point advantage over Murray Adams. You drop a further 3 points back, you've got Andrew Dawson in there as well, and don't rank out James Fremont as well in that regard on 770. What we're saying is less than 20 points at this stage of the season covers Class 2, and a lot could change between now and the end of the season.
Absolutely, mate. It's a testament to how close it's been this season. It's fantastic it's been that close when you consider how many different formats that we've done. Although maybe that in of itself is a reason why. But it's looking very tasty as you go into the last few rounds for Class 2, and there are no certainties with it.
Right, well, we'll go into qualifying very, very soon. It's lone qualifying as ever for the drivers here tonight. If it's your first time here and you've not experienced this format before, what we do along the course of the next 10 minutes or so is everybody out there basically in their own pseudo parallel universe of a lobby. What this does is it means that nobody can complain about, oh, I got blocked in traffic in this, that and the other. It's them on their own, on the track, with 2 flying laps to get the fastest lap time possible and give themselves a good grid position for race number 1. What we should talk, though, about, Howard, is this circuit, the Red Bull Ring. Is it one that you like?
It is. We've had Monza already, and this is the other one that, as a kid, when you booted up a game, for me it was F1 96. Well, it depends actually, because it had a hiatus period, quite a lengthy one, didn't it, from the championship? But people of a certain age will remember booting up the games and playing on the A1 ring. Now it is the Red Bull Ring, and it's obviously going even further back. You'd have the Österreich ring, but. Do you know what? It's deceptive, I find this one, in a good way. It looks simple, and yet certain bits, like there, that we're just seeing here with James Fremont, it can catch you out. It is so much harder than you think. Partially, Andrew, because you've got these long runs to these braking zones. It's so easy to psych yourself out going into a braking zone and then stuff it up when you actually want to slow the thing down and get it turned in. So, simple, but it's fun.
Track limits is going to be a topic of discussion tonight. I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. There are some interesting track limit setups around this circuit. I heard one person describe it earlier this week as the anti-Le Mans. If Le Mans gives you off tracks and slowdowns all over the place, this place does not. We are playing things by the iRacing Sporting Code, but I think there will be some level of sportsmanship, shall we say, tonight with using those track limits, particularly in qualifying. But we should stress that this behaviour is not condoned by DDMM. There we go. I've said it. Nobody can whinge about it for the rest of the evening. What I've said is final. Here's Christopher Powell heading into the Remus curve, and then along this straight that's not really a straight, but is very, very crucial to get things right for Schlossgold. This downhill, heavy braking, tightening right-hander. We see many an overtake in the Formula 1, and I think we will tonight as well. Careful not to run out wide too much there as you enter the next couple of corners, which I think are two of the hardest corners on the circuit. These two left-handers flowing one into the other. And the exit from here through the Worth curve, very important to get the run now up over the top of the hill. Set the car up for the Rindt curve, named after great Austrian race driver Jochen Rindt. There goes Powell, keeping it on the curb there, and then through the Red Bull Mobile curve. It's looked like a good, tidy lap so far from Christopher Powell. Just going to have a look at what time he's set. He's gone 6th, and that is the fastest lap so far, Howard, for a Class 2 driver. Just what our Class 2 F3 leader was looking for. Yeah,
absolutely. That's exactly what you want to open up your bidding for the grid. Here is Josh Ladd, and here is Andrew Says can win both the championship outright and the Simutec prize in the single seaters in this round. Hello to Sophia Beaumont, who's subscribed here on the DDMM YouTube channel. If you're new around here, you don't mind clicking that sub button, that really does help us out. So we've got 2 more rounds of this championship coming up after this. We've also got plenty of in real life Club 100 seniors action. We were at Wilton Mill on Sunday for the sprints round. We'll be at Ella Park in 3 weekends' time for the penultimate round of the season, and then there for the season finale at Bucknell Park as well with Alpha Live. Here comes Josh Ladd though across the line. Can he improve? Of course he can improve. He can go to provisional pole position with a 1:23.925, and that looks pretty good there for Josh Ladd. Nathan Maximan currently 2nd on the grid. Here's Cameron Watson currently down in 14th on the grid. Would be expecting more than that in the Red Lodge karting liveried entry out of the final corner. Here comes Watson, over start, finishing number 48. Where can he go? He could go up to 9th. Good run there from Cameron Watson up onto the 5th row of the grid. There's been a change in C2 as well. Matthew Whitefoot has gone to pole position, but that's straight away beaten by Andrew Dawson, so he takes C2 class pole position. Here comes Sam Sanders over the line. Where can he slot into? Championship leader at the moment on best 9 scores out of the 10 rounds so far, but could have things taken out of his own hands tonight depending on other results. Let's see, where has Sanders gone? He got an off track, so he's not had, in fact, he had 2 off tracks. I think Sam Sanders is going to be starting from the back of the grid here. That is a big moment here in this championship. Sam Sanders has done 2 laps and hasn't been able to set a lap time. Chris Hansen, I said it's quite an interesting grid this, Howard. Josh Ladd on pole position, Nathan Maximum P2, Patrick Pichkay and Alex Mitchell row 2, Michael Preston and James Montgomery row 3, Mike Hart and Tom Edwards row 4, Andrew Dawson and Cameron Watson row 5. Crucially for Dawson, that is pole position in C2. The C2s, remember, denoted by the blue number boards on the tower on the left-hand side of your screen. The C1s, the more experienced drivers, with the red. Steve Hicks comes over the line.
pops it into 7th place.
Big improvement that he needed, Andrew. He was right at the back until that time came in.
Tom Kempink, another one of our contenders for the Simutec Technologies prize in Class 2. I think he has also completed all of his laps. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody out there who is still on the lap. I think JJ Aston's still out there on a fast lap.
Here he is.
So at the moment, 22nd on the grid is JJ Aston. A 1:28.24 on JJ's first flying lap. Charlie Summers has improved, but only to 16th place on a 1 minute 25.8. If you're enjoying the stream, do give that like button a press. We've got 2 races tonight. A feature race where there will be some pit stop activity, and then a shorter sprint race. Results across those 2 races will decide who wins the round and who takes the 100 points for the overall championship. Here comes JJ Aston across the line. Is it going to be an improvement? No, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be an improvement on time, but not on position. In fact, no, I think there was an off track during that lap, 2 of them. So unfortunately for JJ, he will start towards the back of the field. Matt Hale is out there as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just getting a sighter lap and starting from the back. The tactic from Hale tonight is that this is not his strongest discipline. So he's been thinking along the lines, Howard, of start from the back, see if there's any chaos in the middle, and then pick through. He's almost on a bit of damage limitation here tonight after a great run a few weeks ago at Monza.
Yeah, that's I think that's a sensible strategy for him to play. We've seen this from Hale throughout this season, that he's thinking outside the box maybe to see what falls his way in terms of incidents and accidents. We know that there can be incidents. Oh,
like that one.
Like that one. We know that there can be incidents here, particularly on the first lap in those big braking zones. So probably not too. Certainly not a strategy there's method behind the madness. I'll go with that.
There's about 10 seconds of the session to go, but everybody has completed their lap times. So that will be your grid. Lad from Maximin, from Piskay, from Alex Mitchell, who's been cheered on, I think, by Ryan Hamilton in the chat. Let's get ready, though, for the first race of the evening. I can see it gridding up now. And this should be a fascinating first race of the evening. Here is your grid. Josh Ladd has pole position. Nathan Maximin alongside on the front row. Josh Ladd has still not updated his profile. Says he still races for Yaz Heat. That is of course incorrect. He races for Williams Esports. Patrick Piskay and Alex Mitchell on row 2. Michael Preston with work to do from row 3 alongside James Montgomery. Steve Hicks and Mike Hart are on row 4. Tom Edwards and Andrew Dawson on row 5. Crucially for Dawson, that is pole position in C2. Cameron Watson and Adrian Goodwin on row 6. Matthew Whitefoot and Christopher Powell on row 7. For Powell, if you can just hold that position, that'll be good enough to win the title of strongest C2 in an F3 car this year. James Fremont and Charlie Summers are there on row 8. Murray Adams and Tom Dix on row 9. Tom Kempink and Sam Dimolo on row 10. Ian Sumner and Chris Hansen on row 11. JJ Aston and Sam Sanders on row 12. And then Matthew Cockerham and Matt Hale on row 13. 26 karts in the field. To Jason Dilworth as well, tuning in and supporting Alex. This is a big race in the context of this championship. Josh Ladd on pole position in the classic Williams livery. Can the Williams esports driver take the win here at the Red Bull Ring, take the championship, take the Simutec Technologies prize. The lights are coming on. 5 lights here at the Red Bull Ring. Away we go for racing here in the Club 100 and BUKC iRACIng Championship. Good start for Josh Ladd. Very good start as well for the number 13 in the Aston Martin colours of Patrick Pischke. There's a number of drivers off towards the back. Tom Kempick is involved. Sam Sanders is involved. The championship leader on best 9 scores going into tonight is in trouble. I think Sam Dimolo is in trouble as well, but that is not enough cars in trouble to cause a safety car. James Montgomery down the inside, now being attacked by Nathan Maximin there in the number 31. The number 19 of Michael Preston's getting involved. This is a great scrap for 3rd place as they head down towards turn number 3. But what a start for Patrick Pischke and Josh Ladd.
Yeah, dream start for those two, Andrew, as they're still battling away through Schlossgold. And that is off for Nathan Maximin, James Montgomery,
and Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, this is the costly. These are the costly moments, Andrew, at the start of races where drivers are turning some of their potential scores into scores that, for their own champion scores' sake, they will hope to be drop scores.
Well,
these are the costly moments.
I was going to say that there is a towpath out there, but he's got to go back onto the grass. This is not going to be good for Nathan Maximin. He's probably going to have a damaged car. Yeah, look at the wing on the front right corner. That has gone horribly wrong for Nathan Maximin at the start of this 30-lap feature race. I'm trying to see how many cars we've got there in the pits. I think we've got 3 of them in the pits. Kempink, Dimolo. Also don't think that Matt Hale is running round at the moment as well.
Yeah, I think it's been a costly first lap all round, Andrew. I've got Hale, Sanders, Dimolo, Kempink, Ian Sumner in some trouble as well. JJ Asen seems to have dropped back as well, so there's quite a few drivers licking their wounds at the end of that first lap.
Josh Ladd though pushing off the front now. Patrick Pischke, there's a 1.5 second gap between the two of them. Here's Matthew Whitefoot going side by side with Christopher Powell. This is for 2nd in C2. Powell to the inside. We'll just be taking things nice and carefully. He doesn't need to overdo things tonight. He's got that 6-point advantage in C2. Through there goes Whitefoot. He's been one of the big improvers across the course of this year. Was the winner at Le Mans alongside Steve Hicks in the team endurance event. Into the Rint curve they go. Here's the battle involving Mike Hart there in the pink number 11. Steve Hicks just behind, and Adrian Goodwin, although Goodwin's going to be under attack here from Cameron Watson. Cameron Watson, who's had a really good start, is looking at 6th place here into turn 1. Is he going to have the move on the inside? Yes, he is. Goodwin is compliant. And through there goes Cameron Watson, up a position, moving towards Steve Hicks now and the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a textbook move there. Really well executed from Cameron Watson. This is an interesting battle going on right here between Alex Mitchell, Christopher Powell, and it's Tom Edwards involved in this as well. So it's an interesting one at the moment. Did I say yes? Tom Dix, Alex Mitchell. That's who we've got going side by side here. And that is through for Alex Mitchell, so long as no one's going to tuck underneath, which they're not as they head towards Roush. So that is job done for Alex Mitchell, and he takes himself up to 10th place.
Yep, on the recovery drive now is Mitchell. After that unfortunate incident on lap 1, which left James Montgomery down the order as well. So Mike Mitchell has made good progress if you consider all 4 drivers involved. Charlie Summers the other one. And they're all still down in 18th, 19th and 20th places. Scything through the field. Here's Tom Edwards. 3 wide as they go towards turn 1, and this is important because this is the battle for the C2 lead. Andrew Dawson in the Gulf colours on the outside, Whitefoot in the yellow and purple, still side by side. Here comes Tom Dix as well in the McLaren number 27. And as expected, we're seeing some really good racing so far tonight here at the Red Bull Ring. Whitefoot down the inside again on the brakes. Looks like he's got the move done. Very good move from Matthew Whitefoot. That's him up to 9th place.
Yeah, scything his way, just reading these battles really well, really maturely, Andrew. And I don't know what his experience is like around this here Red Bull Ring, but he's showing some very good racecraft prowess so far.
Tom Edwards on the move as well, coming down the inside. Andrew Dawson. This is almost feeling a bit like a sprints race in real life at the moment, because if you get offline, you get overtaken by one, everybody comes through. JJ Aston seems to be out of the race there. Just see his car in the background. And incident there involving Chris Hansen, and even a bigger hit, really big hit involving James Fremont as well. That'll end both of their races. Andrew Dawson's in there. So that's a big moment in the story of C2 here tonight. Andrew Dawson, one of the leaders in C2 points in the F3 series before tonight, is out of race 1 after a collision with Chris Hansen.
And after the months of battling that we've had in this championship, Andrew, this sort of stuff can be so costly. I think everyone involved in that one's had to recover to the pits, unless Chris Hansen has managed to nurse it back round here. But I think you might need to get the alignment checked on that one.
Well, Hansen's done well to drive that back, because it is a very, very long tow here at the Red Bull Ring. It takes them 2 minutes and 15 seconds to virtually tow back to the pits. Now, yes, they will have the fast repairs. They'll be able to get back out on circuit. But that is a crushing blow for Andrew Dawson and any hopes of winning in the C2 competition. Here are the two Toms, Edwards and Diggs, and that's contact between them as well.
Was there already someone off in the gravel trap as well?
Yeah, JJ Aston's car seems to be stuck out there. The number 15, I'm not quite sure what's happened. Now, we did see for JJ Aston before, I think he's had more problems similar to what we saw at Monza. If we remember a few weeks ago, JJ Aston had steering wheel issues that temporarily put him out of the race. I think the same has happened again.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andrew. And that will be devastating for JJ Aston. And yeah, I tell you what, mate, this is just keep on going, this race. I can't think of a race that we've had that so far that had, I suppose maybe we've had some first lap incidents and such, but this many incidents bit by bit throughout the race so far, it's definitely a race of attrition out there today.
And to remind, the second race is 15 laps. The grid is set by the top 10 from race 1 being reversed. It does feel like there's a long way to go before we get to that stage. Here on lap number 6, good scrap going on here between two good friends, Mike Hart and Steve Hicks. Steve Hicks, championship organiser. Limited on scores though, and a busy work schedule this year. Eventually he's not been able to make it to every single round in person to race. He's trying to maximise points at every opportunity. Can't mathematically win the title, but can still finish in the top 5 comfortably, maybe even more. Got a good run there on Mike Hart over and out of the final corner. I don't think he's going to be close enough to go for a move. It's a very short braking zone here at turn 1, with it being uphill. Is the battle for 7th place. Adrian Goodwin in the Carlin liveried car. Alex Mitchell just behind in the number 53. Continuing to scythe his way through, and the Nomad crew have turned up to watch here tonight to see their man diving down the inside, taking 7th place away from away from Adrian Goodwin rather. Another good move there from Alex Mitchell, who has been a breath of fresh air in this series in 2022.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Really strong effort so far. And as you say, some of the places where these moves are being made, it goes back to what I was saying about, I feel like this place could be a bit deceptively simple looking, right? As you say, short braking zones, uphill braking zones, judging these things right so you're not clattering into a driver come the apex. He's making some of these things look easy, and and I'll tell you for free that they're not. So really impressive stuff.
There's James Montgomery. Was for a few moments' time, trying to recover back through. Charlie Summers, who won the second race of the evening at Silverstone, which is the second F3 round of the year.
The significance, Andrew, is that this pack on screen now is what James is chasing, or who James is chasing, I should say. And if they start having a bit of a fight, it might start to come his way.
Indeed. I think we see Matt Hale is running just there in the background. Still circulating, trying to pick up points. The lap's ticking on by. We're already on to lap 8 out of 30 here for the first race of the evening. Round 11 of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. There, looking down the inside, is Tom Edwards. But that is on the 321. I think that is Ian Sumner there. No, it won't be 321 because Ian Sumner's the 888. It'll be the 321 of Cochrane. So yes, sorry, that was for position. That was for 11th place. That's good work so far. Tom Dix and Charlie Summers just behind as well, going side by side. This is where we saw Dix and Edwards come to blows a few laps ago.
Woody's going to try. Oh, that's interesting. That's into Verth corner. Now, you've got to be careful making a move in there, Andrew, because A, you've got to generally have a fairly compliant driver, and B, it's going to give Tom Dix the opportunity to focus on Cochrane, I think. It compromises you, I always think, going into this last sector, round by Rint corner. So that's paid off well for Dix there, in what sort of began as an overtake attempt from Charlie Summers.
Yeah, the race ebbing and flowing at the moment. Battle behind between Summers and Cochrane there, back with our race leader, who has galloped off the front of the field here. Josh Ladd, 3.6 seconds clear of the rest of the field now. And it's just looking in this form, Howard, that we've just kind of got used to, really. Yeah,
it's imperious, isn't it, really? Or I'm running out of... I need a thesaurus sent to me, because I'm running out of superlatives for it, but it is very, very impressive how Josh Ladd is controlling this one. And as we covered towards the start of the evening, at the moment, he's sitting in the pound seat, Andrew, to wrap up both the Simutec, although that being 1X, that was just pushing the limit.
That's the one that's a little bit dodgy. You can run wide there and get away with it and not even get a slowdown. To be fair to Josh, he did flag it side by side between Cochrane and Montgomery there. Montgomery trying to recover back through the field from early disappointment. He's got a good run here, and he's going to be down the inside into the Rint curve, surely to the inside, James Montgomery, and that will be good enough for 14th place.
Yeah, cracking effort there by Montgomery. Again, with that last corner, Andrew, it's all about how early can you put your foot down on the power. You know, if you get impatient, in fact, a lot of these corners are about patience as well. I'm thinking of like the two left-handers on the infield, the Roush and the Verth left-handers. It's so easy, isn't it, to get impatient and go, come on, let's put the power down. And then you're squirreling around on the curb and you can pick up your 1X at that point. So that's, I think, one of the major things about this circuit is knowing when and how to transition from that hard braking you've got to do to get yourself stopped in time for the corner versus putting the power down to maximise your run down the next straight.
Indeed, new PB from Chris Hansen in 19th place at 124.770. Back once again with Tom Dix and Charlie Summers. Looking back from Tom Dix now. This is over 12th place. The fastest lap of the race from the race leader, 123.836 for Josh Ladd. And he is quite literally running away with this at the moment. Ahead of Patrick Prishgate in second and Michael Preston in third. So we're already a third of the way through this race. The first race, the feature race tonight at the Red Bull Ring for round 11 of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. On board once again, this time with Charlie Summers, looking uphill towards, well, the corner that is definitely called the Remus curve. There's some debate as to whether it's turn 2 or maybe even turn 4 around this circuit, but it is a hard brake into the right-hander. That was pretty good from Charlie Summers. Has he got enough to get alongside Tom Dix on the run down to the next corner? Schlosskuhl not going to be on this particular lap, but braking just beyond the 100-metre board. The rear end of Tom Dix's McLaren liveried Dallara F3 looking a little bit loose there. A brave one into the Roush corner. And drivers have got to think about the tyres as well, because they will have to do a pit stop at some point in this race. It can be a hard circuit on tyres, the Red Bull Ring. Very high speed corners. Curbs are aggressive as well. And hard on the brakes, as already mentioned.
And it's an easy track to bin it into the wall, quite frankly,
yes,
going into the pit lane.
It is just that. So Josh Ladd still leads the race, 4 seconds clear of Patrick Pichgate. Michael Preston third. Steve Hicks fourth. We haven't mentioned that Mike Hart has moved down the order, unfortunately. He's now down in 9th place. Cameron Watson is therefore up to 5th. Alex Mitchell in 6th, Adrian Goodwin 7th, and C2 leader at the moment, Matthew Whitefoot in 8th. More importantly, though, in the context of tonight, and the prizes on offer from Simutec Technologies, Christopher Powell is still there, 2nd in C2, 10th overall. Down the inside is Summers. Well, he was having a look at Tom Dix there for 12th place. But you mentioned it, Howard, about the attrition rates. You look at that top 10, they are the 10 drivers who so far have kept themselves completely clear of trouble of this race. Summers has been in the gravel.
Yep.
Dix and Edwards had their issue earlier on. Lap 3. James Montgomery had trouble on lap 1 as well. It's almost become like a 2-division race now. Those with a clean car in this first portion of the race, and those with a bit of damage that will be repaired at the pit stop when they get the fast repair. But for now, they've just got to get on with it.
Reminds me very much of advice that got when I first competed in. Oh, there's a wide moment there for Charlie Summers out of turn 1, and that'll leave him exposed to attack. And I think James Montgomery is going to get by very easily there because of that mistake there over the sausage curb for Summers. So that is Montgomery up to 13th. But yes, it reminds me in a way, mate, of BUKC Intermediates, although going back to when I was competing in it when it was then called the Rookies. It used to be the advice, just keep it on the island, keep it on the grey stuff, and the results will come your way. And I'm getting that impression from this race more so than other races that we have run this season.
Gap has come down at the front. Josh Ladd is now 3.3 seconds clear of Patrick Pichgate. It was out beyond 4 seconds not too long ago. Josh Ladd just controlling the pace at the moment. Already approaching the halfway point of this race. We're on lap number 14. This will give Josh Ladd such big confidence now, as back once again with this battle just outside the top 10. This time James Montgomery looking to try and get by Tom Edwards, who's lost the position to Tom Dix as well. In the pits there is Alex Mitchell. Now, is that for a scheduled pit stop? I hope it is. Down the inside is Edwards on Dix into turn 1. We've already seen him make contact once tonight already. They've made it through turn 1 without any trouble, but here comes James Montgomery, 3 wide almost as they head up towards the Remus curve. Great run here from James Montgomery. Can he get both of them? He's going to have a bit of work to do in the braking zone with Dix down the inside. He is down the inside. Here comes Summers as well. Look at this. Brilliant racing in the Dallara F3s. And James Montgomery emerges on top.
Beautifully read by James Montgomery. He is working his way up through this field absolutely superbly. Now Edwards is trying to seal the deal down the inside of Tom Dix, but Charlie Summers is going to get the undercut, the switchback, one should probably say, coming out of Schlossgold, and that has paid off brilliantly for him. What a fantastic series of corners to demonstrate how you can have a proper little dogfight in around this A1 ring, Andrew. That's what I mean when I talk about how technical it can be.
Yeah, it is.
Tuck, it's fantastic.
It's about picking your moments. It just looked to me like Charlie Summers' car is suffering with understeer. Initial turn-in looks to be difficult for the number 35 at the moment. And he's just in the middle of the corner. He's not able to get on the power as early as he perhaps would like. But yeah, really good work from James Montgomery to pick his way through all of that. He's up into the top 10. Back with Adrian Goodwin. He's having a strong run so far tonight. 6th place. There's the C2 leader just behind in the shape of Matthew Whitefoot. For Matthew, well, it's a long shot, I think, on the points for him to take the Simutec Technologies C2 prize, but this is a driver, Howard, who has really grown through the course of the season and maybe thinking further down the line to round 12, to round 13, and potentially building a score that could make all the difference in the C2 Championship over the course of the whole year.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, I think it is a case of playing the long game here. Some drivers are knowingly in the hunt for this, the Simutec category in these Dallara F3s, and other drivers will have their eyes on front. That's what makes it so interesting, incidentally, is the drivers fighting over various different bits and pieces. Everyone has their own story that they're trying to get right, trying to sew together in the opposing story at the stage of this championship season.
We are into the second half of the race then. Josh Ladd continues to lead. Is Tom Edwards? Tom Edwards is in the pits. I thought he was. I just saw a little bit of a flicker there on our timing. You can also go and onto the Double Dash Motorsport Media website and have a look at the live timing if you want. If you've got a spare monitor, a laptop that you're watching the stream on. Tom Edwards' routine pit stop there. Will re-emerge from the pit lane. I think he'll be around Matthew Cockram and Murray Adams. So Murray Adams has had problems in this race also. You just see him in the background there. These C2 runners really are giving a big opportunity now to Christopher Powell to get that prize sewn up for the C3s, with all of them seeming to have problems so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even the C2s, we should be clear there. Yeah, it's definitely a costly race, and therefore potentially a costly round for some of these drivers. Big hopes in Class 2. I'll give Murray Adams a shout out. I'm pretty sure we always do though when we're running these. Nice delivery. We appreciate the class.
Oh yes, very, very good. Very good indeed. To see the old McLaren livery back out. On board once again with Whitefoot. It's definitely putting Goodwin under pressure here. It's a good run so far from Matthew Whitefoot, who's in the pits now. Looks like it's Charlie Summers. And Charlie Summers will come out. He's obviously reacted to Tom Edwards heading to the pit lane there. And I think is, yes, indeed, going to hold on to position. You can see just coming out of the pits there. We'll keep an eye on the lap times for these drivers as well. It'll be interesting to see, do they now go a lot quicker? 1:24.4 the fastest lap time for Summers so far, 1:24.7 for Edwards, which is a tad quicker than the drivers you've got on your screens at the moment. James Montgomery continuing to circulate, is now caught up to Christopher Powell. Wise decision that by Christopher Powell. Doesn't need to be in a fight here tonight. Get in the pits, get the mandatory pit stop done, try and run the rest of these remaining 13 laps nice and cleanly, get those points on the board to make that second race, the sprint race, just that little bit easier.
absolutely smart strategy, I think, there from Christopher Powell. That would be worthy of you and I running one of the iRacing special events there, mate, just to play it safe. I don't need to lose time battling away. I'm going to make this time now. Well played.
And he will come out just behind Matthew Cockram there in the 3-2-1. Still, this battle between Adrian Goodwin and Matthew Whitefoot rages on. Still for 6th place. Neither of them have just elected to go to the pits yet. Cameron Watson has possibly, though. Just a little bit of a glitch on live timing. No, it was a glitch on live timing. He is still circulating around. New PB from Patrick Pischke. And at the moment, he's losing more ground to Josh Ladd, now some 6.2 seconds behind. The 1:23.82, the new fastest lap for Pischke so far. Keep your comments in. Let us know who you're supporting here tonight in the championship. There is Patrick Pischke. Delayed entry tonight. Running well so far in the Aston Martin liveried car. Talking about Aston Martin, more members coming in. As sorry to cut across myself there. Side by side between Whitefoot and Goodwin. Goodwin having to defend. There's a back marker that they're going to have to negotiate there, which I think is Ian Sumner in the Lego car. Mike Hart's not too far behind as well in 8th place. We'll be looking to take some form of advantage here. Still side by side between Goodwin and Whitefoot. Whitefoot still on the outside. Can he get a switchback, or can he go all the way around the outside? Yes, he can. Whoa. Great run there from Matthew Whitefoot. This is the form, the confidence that Matthew Whitefoot has had across all the different disciplines, I would say, since Le Mans, since that opportunity to have a bit of training with one of the C1 drivers. There's no driver who from that event has taken more from that arrangement than Matthew Whitefoot, especially in this second half of the season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate. And now it's Adrian Goodwin having the close attention of Mike Hart almost immediately, although Mike Hart makes the decision to peel the Barbie liveried car into the pit lane. Or at least I hope it's the Barbie car at your end.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. So Hart into the pits. Stop on the marks. Short bit of service and get back out again to try and hold on to the top 10 here down the inside. This is Charlie Summers. That was on Matthew Cockram, and Cockram into the pits. I've got to say, actually, Charlie Summers has made his pit strategy work really well, because he's managed to undercut Christopher Powell here. So I think when this shakes out, Summers will be into the top 10. Cockram in, recent addition to the championship, just getting the right positioning there in the pit lane. Already on the 21st lap of 30 here, into the last third of the feature race here tonight. And in fact, pit lane activity, leader is in. Patrick Pischke has stayed out and will retain the lead. Michael Preston is in as well. And I would say that things are out of his control now in terms of whether he's going to take the F3 title. At the moment, this driver here, this Williams Esports teammate Josh Ladd, is just out front, pounding in the lap times. He's going to go down the inside of JJ Aston now, who is several laps down. Getting a bit squirrely there was Josh Ladd. James Montgomery in as well. Matthew Whitefoot completes his pit stop. The C2 leader, Tom Dix, also makes a trip to the pit lane. And I think Murray Adams is also having his mandatory stop. So Whitefoot exits ahead of Hart. Montgomery has gained out of that as well. He's had some great speed in the middle phase of this race, and is now going to be up against Mike Hart here in battle between drivers. Theoretically, he'll be quite close come season end. Mike Hart hasn't had as many appearances this year, but still got enough rounds to go to get a representative score. Here comes the race leader, at least at this stage of the race. Patrick Pischke will hand the race lead back over to Josh Ladd. Crucially for Pischke, can he get back out ahead of Michael Preston? The gap is going to have closed here, but not enough. Pischke holds on to second place. Back out on circuit. There is Michael Preston in the background, and that is the job for the Team Southampton BUKC driver to close down and take that second place away from driving the number 13. Adrian Goodwin now comes into the pit lane to complete his pit stop, and Mike Hart is... no, he's definitely been in before. Yeah, so Mike Hart's in again. Something's happened here. Is this a drive-through penalty? No, he's making a stop. Well, that has not gone to plan for Mike Hart, and is going to drop the number 11 down quite a long way. Is this a penalty? I think this is a penalty. This is a very long hold in the pit lane. Could it be a speeding on exit penalty?
Yeah, absolutely could be, Andrew. Or, of course, there is actually the one at, well, the general penalty limit that he might have hit.
Yeah, could be.
But, yeah, it's something there that's going to impact his race.
Here
Sam
is
Sanders.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Well, in a battle that, I think, if we're being honest, mate, we didn't expect him to be having in this one. He's just getting by there for 20th place, but this is not what he would have wanted from this race.
Definitely not. And for Sam Sanders, it's he's had a great season. That has to be said. At this stage of the year, 10 rounds in, he's got the most points out of anybody who's completed 9 events, and that's not to be sniffed at. Has been very consistent, and in a way, you always expect a driver even of his calibre over the course of a 13-round championship to have at least one major problem round through the season, and it looks like, unfortunately for him, it's here tonight in the Red Bull Ring. Sam Dimolo still stuck in the pit lane, looks to be out of this race. Here's an interesting scrap, Howard. It's for 4th place. Steve Hicks there in the Simutec car, I should say, and Cameron Watson chasing down here in 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is interesting. This one should have a little bit of teeth to it. These two not too far apart in the championship by my count, Andrew. And yeah, this one could be interesting. We've seen some good moves so far from both of these drivers actually in this 24 laps that they've had so far out of the 30. So this one could be an interesting one to watch towards the end.
Indeed. If you're enjoying the stream, do give it a like. Click that like button and share it out on your social media networks of choice as well. No commentary this weekend. Both got a weekend off, but next week do definitely stick around and make sure you follow, if you're on Instagram, at Double Dash there as well, because it's Rock Cup Super Final week. Very excited to be going out to Lonato once again. 3rd year we've been supporting that event, and had the entry list come in to me the other day, and it looks once again like an absolute cracker. It's good British representation over in the competition as well. So that will all be next week for you, starting on Wednesday through to the final on the Saturday, which will be live streamed for you. So do make sure you follow across your networks at Double Dash for all the details on that. Meanwhile, 6th place battle, James Montgomery ahead of Matthew Whitefoot. Apologies, 7th place battle. And bit of a moment there for Montgomery. Might be under attack here now from the C2 race leader. Just to mention as well, still importantly close between Powell and Dawson. 2nd place at the moment for Christopher Powell in C2. Can't remember whether Andrew Dawson has made a pit stop or has made the mandatory pit stop yet or not, but Christopher Powell still looking good on that one.
He's made a pit stop, Andrew. Whether that is the mandatory one, well, I suppose he made one, so that kind of fulfills it. But whether it was for damage or it was planned, it's a different matter. But he has made it.
Yes. Yes, my thoughts precisely on that one. I suppose it was for the, well, there will have been the contact with Chris Hansen, and it will have been past lap 1. So yes, it may well be that yeah, if Dawson was able to limp the car back to the pits, that in effect, yes, he has taken the mandatory pit stop. Cameron Watson still trying to find a way past Steve Hicks here. Not long to go. We're on to lap number 26, or at least the leader is on to lap 26 now. On the top of the rise into the Rint curve. You can see how much of the track being used here by the drivers. Looking back there from Steve Hicks at Cameron Watson. Hicks feeling the need to go defensive down the pit straight. Switching back into the racing line for turn 1. Watson can get a good run here out of turn number 1. Could be an opportunity. Gets on the sausage curb though. Those big sausage curbs that have seen great Formula 1 suspension units over the years. Really does give the cars a good old beating, this circuit. It's got that good mix of old school and yet modern. Within, well, especially since Red Bull bought it and redeveloped it from its A1 ring days. Still Steve Hicks holding ahead here in 4th place. Just see Alex Mitchell in the background there in 6th, who's done well to recover from the first lap incident. Meanwhile, a little bit further down the order here, you've got Adrian Goodwin in the blue and yellow Carlin car. Charlie Summers just behind.
Is there anyone Charlie hasn't had a chance to battle with yet in this race, apart from Josh Ladd? It's been incredible battling for position we've seen from him. We're really proud of this result if he can convert it into something good.
Now they don't want to be too silly here, and I'm sure they won't, because at the moment these are your front row sitters for race number 2 once we've got the reverse grid. Steve Hicks and Cameron Watson once again. Good run this time for Watson. Has he pulled out of the slipstream too early though? No, we can't. I was about to say he thought he had a slowdown there, but
yeah,
would have been backing off way too much for that.
It was an interesting body language from the car, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, interesting one. Just showing a bit of a glimpse there, which was Chris Hansen coming out of the pits, which I highly doubted because he's right now, so heading into the final sector.
Yes. Oh dear, as that is Cockram in trouble. That is Matthew Cockram in 19th place. Well, 19th place no more, trying to get the car that is coming out of turn number 3. Gets back on circuit. It's just going to be overtaken there on the road by JJ Aston. Yeah, not what Matthew Cochran would have wanted. Still relatively new to the series. Joined us at Bathurst. 2 rounds to go. This will be his first run out in the Formula 3s in the Club 100 and BUKC iRACING Championship, which you can still join if you're watching at home and thinking about getting involved. 2 rounds of the season to go. At the moment, both scheduled for November. Maybe a late schedule change for the last round, but keep posted on that one. Here's James Fremont. Ian Sumner just ahead. This is for position. This is for 21st spot. Classic livery being run by Fremont tonight. A good old Lego for Mr. Sumner. James Fremont's race really came to an abrupt halt in some ways with that incident involving Chris Hansen. As the race leader, I'm just tracking through how it is, on to lap number 28, so 2 laps to go for Josh Ladd after he completes this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen so very little of him, but we will make sure that we come in with him for the last lap. Here though, Fremont some
Fremont gets through.
Indeed. Meanwhile, now that looked like we panned behind him, but it's actually a lap up. where Adrian Goodwin has been passed there by Charlie Summers.
I'm not sure whether there was contact there, or it was just a bit of loss of adhesion on the tyres there for Adrian Goodwin, but the result is that Charlie Summers is through and into 12th position. I think there have been some further pit stops towards the end of this race, because Andrew Dawson has now dropped down to 14th place, just ahead of Chris Hansen in 102 Simply Catnip cars. Big thanks to Simply Catnip and G3 Pro for their continued support of the series here tonight. Do check them out in the description below, and the BUKC and CLUB100, the winners of the Class 1 and Class 2 championships, both getting a free run next year in a CLUB100 endurance race of their choice. And the top 10 in both C1 and C2 all receiving iRacing dollars of some value, depending on which position they finish within that top 10 once we get to the end of the year. But here is Josh Ladd coming round to complete lap number 29 and go on to the final lap of the race. White flag is out. I've got to say, this has been probably one of the simpler races for Josh Ladd that we've seen in his CLUB100 iRacing career. He's had pole position. He's not looked challenged at all in the last 40 minutes.
Absolutely pulled it out the bag, hasn't he? Just thought we'd ride on board with him for a bit to see him at work. Great traction out off turn 2 there, or turn 4, depending on how you like to number the corners around this Red Bull ring. Circuit dipping away from you into Schlossgold.
And this will leave Josh Ladd one race away from becoming the 2022 CLUB100 and BUKC iRacing champion. We'll have to do it from 10th place on the grid. This is just how he would have wanted to start the evening. Continuing that great form we saw at Silverstone back in July, the last time we saw the F3s out. Into the last 2 corners to take a feature race win. A comfortable feature race win, but a very, very important one for tonight's competition and the championship. Josh Ladd takes the win in the feature race and will win by some 13 seconds. Does it with the fastest lap on the last lap of 122.861. Very good run from Patrick Pischke. Pischke finishes P2 here at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be Michael Prestonholm in 3rd. 4th is going to be a while yet, but here it is. It's going to be Steve Hicks and Cameron Watson battle, and it should be Hicks over the line out of the final corner to take 4th place. 5th for Watson. Great recovery from Alex Mitchell to 6th place. Sam Sanders, a disappointing run there for him in 19th. James Montgomery likewise, good recovery after an incident on lap 1, finishes in 7th. I've got to say, Howard, one of the drive to the race for me is going to be the driver in 8th place. Matthew Whitefoot wins in C2 in this particular race, finishes P8. 9th was Tom Edwards, 10th for Tom Dix, and crucially as well, Christopher Powell is going to come over the line in 11th spot. That is a very good start to the evening for Christopher Powell as he looks to close out the C2 standings, the championship, the mini-series, for winning the prize there from Simutec Technology for the strongest C2 driver in Formula 3 events this year.
Yes, mate. Nice first race of the round. Then various different good battles. But I suppose the headline has to be that Josh Ladd has dominated that one and put himself in the pound seats for taking both the Simutec single-seater bragging rights and the championship outright. We'll have to see how race 2 goes.
And race 2 will be up shortly. We have to do a little bit of a server change, so in the meantime we'll take a short break here on the commentary and we'll be back very shortly for more action here for round 11 of the 2022 CLUB100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Keep it locked here on DDMM. We'll be here along very, very soon. live coverage of this, the 2022 Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship. I just realised what's happened here. Greatly confused me, but in fact, no. I am greatly confused. As ever, I'm greatly confused. That's the music I was expecting. I'm now very confused as to why I can hear a piece of music I wasn't expecting to hear over my earphones. I don't know exactly why I hear it. It's because of that. Right, I've stopped pressing buttons now. Hopefully Howard's back with me. Howard, can you hear me?
Hello.
Sorry, I was just having a bit of a brain fart moment there because I had the stream on a 20-second delay, playing back into the board, to play into the stream, which we don't want to do. First race, just whilst we're getting loaded up in lobby 2. It was a good race, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think the longer form race meant that some battles, as I say, came to the boil gradually, shall we say, throughout the race. But actually, for me, that provided a really nice, steady series of battles, mate. And I think that was actually a real treat to watch. So, the longer form race, the pit stops, sometimes those can lead to... I'm not sure I agree with this. So I'll say sometimes that can lead to the perception of a race that spreads out and gets a bit dull. Not here at all. The field was competitive enough that right through the whole race, it was nose to tail between somebody somewhere on this circuit. Some important drives up through the field, marking that out. There'll be some drivers, Andrew, who are hoping for a slightly cleaner start to this one for certain.
Indeed. Lobby 2 is now live. It's a 10-minute practice session for the drivers, just to get themselves reacclimatised, and then it'll be the top 10 reversed. That'll set the grid for race number 2. Shall we go on a livery watch? Because I don't feel like we've done livery watch in a while. Here's Nathan Maximin. Not in orange and black, which is freaking me out a little bit. But
yeah. Yes, it is.
Unlucky Nathan. I've just been looking through some of the driver chat. It just appears to be one of those things on lap 1, maybe a bit of net code that spanned Nathan Maximin round after going wheel to wheel with Michael Preston.
Yeah, absolutely. That's unfortunate for him, but hopefully he can pull things back around in this second, albeit shorter race of the evening. Here's a good one for livery watch. The McLaren Love being displayed by Tom Dix just coincides nicely with the orange that he likes to race in.
Drama for Steve Hicks, I can hear. Blue screen of death.
Oh dear. Okay.
Currently being hastily restarted by Steve Hicks. Well, if there was a time for it to happen, that's a pretty good one whilst the 10 minutes practice session is underway. But note that for saying that, he's only got 5 minutes to go. The big process better get on with it. No, sorry, I do like this livery. I like it a lot.
Yeah, agreed.
You've actually got. Have you got double Lando Norris liveries running line of stern on circuit at the moment?
I'm not sure.
The livery that he had in his Formula 3 days.
Potentially. What have you got on Mr. Goodwin, sir? This is where livery watch can fall over because we can end up with different.
I've got a Carlin.
Oh, good.
Technically, it's a British F3 livery.
Yes, I've got that too.
Yeah.
And I always quite like the Carlin liveries.
Yeah.
To be honest, so as you say, double Lando Norris representation. I'm just desperately trying to think who he raced for.
He became a meme. When he sat in the gravel track.
Indeed. Just as well, I'm desperately trying to remember who he raced for when he was in MS UK Formula, or I'm trying to remember what it was even called, but became
what became Formula 4.
What became British Formula 4, indeed. I've got a funny feeling that was Carlin as well.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was with Carlin throughout his junior career.
I remember seeing him race at Rockingham one year. Doing very well there. Do you know what? I want to say that there was a certain Colton Herter in that one as well.
I'm going to check now. It's 2015. 2015 MSA Formula. I think you're right. Lando won the title. Ricky Collard was second. Colton Herter was third. Senan Fielding was fourth, and Matthias Leist was fifth.
There you go.
And we won't mention who was sixth because they got in a bit of trouble.
Yes, they did. They did. And also, I messed it up by calling it MS UK Formula, didn't I? That's mixing up my periods of MS UK, Motorsport UK, and MSA, and it was called Formula 4 before then anyway. Yes.
Matt Hale hates Formula 3. I'd like to make it quite clear that Matt Hale does not speak for the entire CLUB100 BUKC iRACIng Championship organising committee when he says that.
Or indeed Double Dash.
Or DDMM. I'm sure G3 Pro, just him himself, doesn't like Formula 3. Hello to Craig Brown as well, who's hello from Alcatraz Island. What have you done, mate, to be put there? Who did you punt? Sam Dimolo says he hates iRacing. No, that's just you.
He's getting
up your game.
He's still new to this. You know, it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come for him.
Chris Hansen in the Simply Catnip car. Big thanks once again to Simply Catnip and their support throughout the year. One of the backers for the monetary prizes, the iRacing dollars at the end of the year. And unlike other Formula 3 based series and other series, we've actually got our cash towards the end of 2022, and we will be able to pay out our champions and race winners. I'll stop now.
I should say, ouch.
Mike Hart, Barbie car. I think that's my favourite tonight.
I agree. It's actually a very well put together livery. That's the thing, and it stands out, and it's actually a quality livery. So yeah, might even be able to distract some of his rivals out there. So you know, that's a good thing as well.
Should have a good grid position for the second race, practice of which head off is going to finish in about 30 seconds time. That's
indeed. We're reversing the top 10 finishes from that first race. Correct.
Oof. Bryn Alban asks, is Matthew Cockram going to look into a win here too? No comments. Oof.
Everyone's pulling.
I was going to say, if he's given us enough biscuits, actual evidence, if you're someone with Jaffa cakes before a seniors sprints round and you give the Jaffa cakes to us, you will get not just one heat win, you'll get 2 heat wins.
Yes.
If your name is Tim Penny.
Thank
right,
you, Tim.
I'm gonna press that button there so we don't get the I wouldn't say it's horrible indent coming up. There we go. Right. Are you still with me, mate? I can hear a horrible noise coming from your end. It's not your voice.
I am still with you, yes.
Are you still with us? Here's your grid for the reverse grid race. Tom Dixon, Tom Edwards on the front row, Matthew Whitefoot and James Montgomery on row 2, Alex Mitchell and Cameron Watson row 3, Steve Hicks and Michael Preston row 4, Patrick Pishgate and Josh Ladd row 5, Christopher Powell and Adrian Goodwin on row 6. I think the oh, there we go. Graphics is not stuck. Andrew Dawson and Chris Hansen on row 7, Nathan Maxman and Murray Adams row 8, Mike Hart and Sam Sanders row 9, Matthew Cockram and James Fremont row 10, Ian Sumner, Tom Kemping, Matt Hale, JJ Hayes and Sam Dimlow completing the 25 car grid. Lots of talk about Jaffa cakes not being biscuits. We'll move on because there's lights coming on here at the Red Bull Ring. 5 lights in the sky. Out they go, away for the sprint reverse grid race we go. Very good start from both of those on the front row of the grid, and it looks like it is going to be into turn. Oh no, spins, both of them spun round. Can everybody avoid? Oh goodness me, that was like the Prosts in 2000. Was it 2001? I can't quite remember. But there we go. Already, both of the Toms, Edwards and Dix, simultaneous spinning, and it looks like it's Alex Mitchell who's come to the front of the order in the Nomad car. James Montgomery challenging for second place. I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled what's happened there between the two front row sitters. Here comes James Montgomery trying to go round the outside into turn number 4. This is where it all went a bit wrong for a couple of drivers last time, and it's looking good so far, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely dead impressed so far with this on the whole, apart from the embarrassing moment for our top two on the grid there, as that's a wide moment for Josh Ladd out onto the gravel. That's not going to be the kind of start that he wants, following Patrick Pichquet through the field.
Is indeed, and is already up to, what is that, 6th place. Michael Preston ahead of them. Looks like Cameron Watson's going for it down the inside, but what a good first lap from Alex Mitchell. Montgomery on the outside there is going to try and slot back in P2, but may lose 1, maybe 2 positions. Here comes Michael Preston looking through the middle. 3 wide as they head up towards turn number 1. Great racing once again here. To the outside goes Montgomery, a little bit wide. He's going to have to take to the escape road. Oh, it's an incident in the background, and Chris Powell's involved. Christopher Powell involved. Got to stay calm. Oh no, he's tapped into Nathan Maximin there, and he's relegated all the way to the bottom of the order. Drivers tripping over one another in turn 1, and now there's a job on for your C2 leader.
Absolutely, mate. That is disaster for him. If you were going to do that at the start of the race, you didn't want it to be at the start of the this shorter one, this half distance compared to the other one, as that is James Montgomery trying to go down the inside of Schlossgold, as that is a beautiful move from Josh Ladd or Patrick Pichquet.
Yeah, really good stuff from Patrick Pichquet. Alex Mitchell leads the race. Michael Preston P2.
Look at
Josh
this,
Ladd up
Josh
to P3.
That's beautiful.
This is a big drive so far. If he can just get onto the tail, he's going to be 3 wide. This is a challenge from James Montgomery up the inside. And Cameron Watson, danger time for Josh Ladd. Patrick Pichquet is going to be looking underneath now. Steve Hicks is going to get involved as well. I knew the racing would be good here tonight, Howard. I didn't know it was going to be this good. Josh Ladd looking for a move again, trying to get the slipstream off of James Montgomery. We're already on to lap number 3. Ladd down the inside of Watson, takes 4th place. But look at the top 2, Alex Mitchell and Michael Preston. They're galloping away here.
Yeah, this is a gift to them. Here they are, heading up to the Remus hairpin. They have got a tiny little lead at the moment, developing as everyone. That looks. Is there an issue for Adrian Goodwin?
Yeah.
Spun out there. The Carlin liveried car coming to a stop and having to rejoin.
Yeah, gets back on circuit. It's just battles everywhere. Oh, it's like a heavyweights A final out there. Sam Sanders looking down the inside of Chris Hansen now. Hansen will have the advantage around the outside. They've just got Matthew Whitefoot ahead of him. Matthew Whitefoot, I gotta say, this is a very good night for Matthew Whitefoot. We talked about him being a bit far off, you know, in trying to get the Class 2 F3 trophy. I think it's beyond doubt at the moment. It's having a sterling run. Here on board now with Josh Ladd. That's James Montgomery ahead of us in 3rd place. For Josh Ladd, he will be thinking, if I can get past James Montgomery, that could be the championship for me. He's not going to try it into turn 1. Just hear him lifting off the throttle there. Wisely done. May try and set a move up into turn 2, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. He's going to pull alongside. Just say perfectly judged that sausage curve on the exit. Just glanced it with the tyre. What you want to do if you're at Landau. Interesting Turkey parallel to draw at the A1 ring, but it sticks, so we're going to go with it. And he's through and up into 3rd place. And Andrew, at this point, he's going to have, if it's stayed as it is at the moment, by my count, that does put him in the pound seats for winning this round.
Yep, wins the round, wins the BUKC and Club 100 F3 Series for 2022, sponsored by Simutec. We'll be going to their studio in Milton Keynes for that free driver coaching session. More importantly, he'll be taking the whole championship overall here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. On board now with Michael Preston. Alex Mitchell ahead. And Michael will be knowing at this point as well, Howard, that he can't afford to trip over Alex Mitchell. Alex isn't part of the championship battle per se. He's still got his championship battles. He still wants to finish the season strongly. But for Michael, he needs the race win, but he needs to get by cleanly. He cannot afford losing a front wing here with 10 laps to go.
100%. Alex Mitchell in what we would usually describe as the disruptor position. Yes, he has a championship that he cares about, but he's not in the main title fight. That is a lovely move. Textbook, I'd say. Michael Preston, so long as he can hold off Alex Mitchell down this neck back straight.
Yeah, he's going to have to defend down into Schlossgold. Josh Ladd's going to like the look of this because he's going to be gaining on these two all the time. There he is in the Cannon Williams car. But it looks like Michael Preston has got this one under control at the moment. Now on board with Alex Mitchell into the Roush curve, then the Worth curve. This is the kind of pace that we were expecting when we saw Alex Mitchell perform very strongly in qualifying. I'd love to have seen him right at the sharp end during the first race. That wasn't to be an hour or so ago, but here in race 2, Mitchell is really hanging it out here with some of the strongest in the championship, not just this season but in previous years as well. You're looking at the points. Alex Mitchell has missed 2 rounds so far this season, so it's only tonight where he's really going to have that first time representative score, but he's going to put himself right up there around the likes of Cameron Watson and Tom Dix. He's going to be comfortably in the top 10. Meanwhile, Matthew Whitefoot battling here with Mike Hart. This is over 9th position. Chris Hansen just behind as well.
Murray Adams, from the last 2 perspective, Andrew, looking to have a much better race than he did first time round.
Hart's to the outside, trying to go round the outside of Matthew Whitefoot. The crucial thing for Whitefoot isn't just that he's winning in Class 2, it's by how far he wins Class 2 tonight. Because the points we should remember, Howard, are done by your overall position. It's not like you get 100 points in a Class 1 for winning in Class 1 and then 100 points for your Class 2 driver for winning in Class 2. No, you get the points for wherever you finish, same as you would in Club 100 Senior Sprints.
Absolutely. Staying true to the Club 100 format here, even in the iRacing world. Start to come under increasing pressure from Josh Ladd.
Good evening to Kirith Kalirai says what a battle, and plenty of support coming in for Alex Mitchell as well. As is that Murray Adams off? That is Murray Adams off, going for a bit of a skate down the barrier. He looks like he's got damage. He's in the pits. He's out of the race. So Murray Adams is going to be out of contention. Looks like Cameron Watson is out of contention as well. It's a bit of a race down pit lane to get to their garages. They'll get a fast repair, but in terms of any successes tonight, that's them pretty much done. How would you talk from it? I've got something to deal with.
Yeah, pass for second place here. Josh Ladd getting the job done into turn number 2. And in so doing, as I say, all of this provisional, of course, but we would anticipate that this is enough for Josh Ladd to take the title.
There we go. Sorry, I had some bots to deal with.
Just like to confirm that Williams' active suspension is not active on the Dallara F3.
No, that is not why Josh Ladd is so quick out there today. Ryan Hamilton says, I'm screaming at my TV at Alex to chill and use the slipstream. He's there, still in the top 3. Here's a good scrap. Adrian Goodwin just behind Matthew Cochran. Cochran currently 3rd place of those in C2.
Recovery drive as well for Goodwin and Rio on the Remus corner.
As I say, we'll go back to the cake discussion.
Yeah.
Has been confirmed. I mean, Victoria Sponge works pretty well as well for future rounds. So bring your cakes to Ella Park. We'll eat them. You won't get cursed.
Absolutely. As was demonstrated by Mr. Penny, as you say. I have to say, the Jaffa cake as Adrian Goodwin lines up moving around the outside of Matthew Cochran. This one could be Well, I've got to say, it has, I believe. I thought it had been. I thought it had been settled. I thought Jaffa cakes went stale rather than soft. Or, sorry, went hard when they were stale rather than soft, and thus were cakes.
Yes, they are cakes.
Indeed. Here's the lead battle for the race. Michael Preston coming under pressure from Josh Ladd. How often have we seen these two battling away at the sharp end of the championship? He's going to have a look. Is he into Ridden corner? That is bold from Josh Ladd. And he's not going to make it work there. To say, who am I to tell him how to drive it, Andrew? I'm somewhat surprised he went for that, because that was bold.
Very good stuff indeed from these two drivers. We've seen them fight so many times over the years in this championship. Are we going to get one more big battle before the title is decided for 2022? To the outside, Josh Ladd. This is where Verstappen and Leclerc had a little bit of a dance a few years ago. Preston will hold to the inside. Almost puts Josh Ladd there on the dirty part of the track. Good defence from Michael Preston. Down towards Schlossgold. Ladd has got a bit of a slipstream, but he'll have a lot to do there around the outside through the right-hander. Preston will put the squeeze on a little bit, and Ladd is not able to get through. This could bring Alex Mitchell back into things. There he is there. Oh, look down the inside through Roush corner for Josh Ladd. That may compromise him on the exit through Worth.
Yeah, going for some Albon-esque moves, I would almost say here is Josh Ladd. He's got plenty of time to make it happen though, Andrew. To Rint again. Oh, and there's a slow-moving car on the inside there.
Oh, great defence from Michael Preston round the outside. I thought that was going to be a change of position. It's Matt Hale in a lot of trouble. The rear left on the 333 has gone. Don't try and revert it in the pit lane. As Josh Ladd down the inside now. Is this the move for the race win, for the round win, for the championship? This contact between Ladd and Preston into the rear diffuser of Josh Ladd. It's Josh Ladd. I think Josh Ladd has got to slow down. Maybe he was letting Preston back through. It looked like a good move to me. It was more Preston running into the back of Ladd. Preston is back down the inside. Alex Mitchell is coming back into this. 3 BUKC drivers at the front of this order. BUKC in recent years, that is. Preston back into the lead. Ladd to the outside. Alex Mitchell's got the best seat in the house, and you're riding on board with him. Switch back from Josh Ladd. What a move that would be for the lead for the championship. Has he run wide? He has, but he's got it. He's got the move done. What a sequence of corners. What a lap. We've been doing this series, Howard, for 3 years. I don't think I've ever seen a more dramatic sequence of overtakes, counter overtakes, counter overtakes than what we've just seen there.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, as you say, mate. And wasn't that one worthy of carrying the red 5 livery there on Josh Ladd's car? What a dummy into the Schlossgold corner. And that was a beautiful, beautiful move coming at the end of what is a brilliant sequence of corner. Fair play to Michael Preston. What a defence he put up. Although he's now got the closer attentions of Alex Mitchell, so there's opportunity there for the battle for second.
And in the context of this race within 2022, he had to defend to try and hold on, because now Josh Ladd, on the pace we've seen so far tonight, is probably going to romp away and is going to take it all here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. Can Michael Preston hold on now for second place? He's on for second place in the round, which will be looking good to secure that spot in the championship as well. Alex Mitchell is in a mood tonight, the like I've never seen him before here in the iRacing Championship. Right on form, putting the top drivers under pressure here. The gap less than half a second, and you never know if these two start battling. You could see Patrick Pischke come back into it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely, this could be a very interesting finish, because Pischke is pushing hard at the moment. He's only some 1.8 seconds back, so if this battle kicks off in the last couple of laps, this could be amazing.
4 more laps after this one. 4 more laps of the Formula 3s here this year, sponsored by Simutec Technologies. the Club 100 and BUKC iRACIng Championship. There is Matthew Whitefoot. We really don't know, apologies, what the situation is now with Class 2, because all the Class 2 drivers, apart from Matthew Whitefoot, have had problems of some description or the other in either of the races tonight, some of them in both. It's potentially blown that part of the championship wide open. Preston and Mitchell again. Alex Mitchell just happy at the moment to sit in the wheel tracks, but that was a lock up there for Michael Preston. He's going to be under threat again here. Alex Mitchell will have seen the dummy that Josh Ladd pulled a few laps ago. He's not close enough to attack this time.
Oh, but there's a moment there. And Michael Preston pushing right on the limit here, Andrew.
It just looks again like he's struggling on front end. Now, we saw that contact between Preston and Ladd a few laps ago. I wonder, does Michael Preston have a tiny bit of front wing damage, which means he's struggling for understeer and he's struggling under braking where he needs that front loading to get him into the corners.
Absolutely, this is a circuit, particularly this bit of the where you need that confidence of the turn in the car. You do not want to have minor aero damage coming through this last set. It looks visually okay at my end, mate, but these things can be quite minor. As Patrick Pisco continues to push behind them as well. 1.6 seconds out the gap.
13th lap of 15 here for the sprint race. Looking further back, Chris Hansen didn't have a good first race. Better second race. He's there in 9th spot. Look at this, Alex Mitchell again. He's going to be on the outside now. Michael Preston's defended positions down the inside here before. He did it against Josh Ladd a few laps ago. Alex Mitchell has, oh no, he's got on the sausage curb. Oh, just made a mistake there, which is going to arrest his momentum. And here comes Patrick Pischke now in the Aston Martin liveried car with the pink wheels and the British Racing green. And he's just creeping into this. Keep that form going, keep that pace going. He's going to be there on the last lap. Down the inside here is Tom Dix on James Fremont. So that is for 13th spot. Mike Hart and Steve Hicks are going to be going at it again, Howard.
Yeah, this Mike Hart, Hicks and Hansen battle has been going on for a large portion of this race, Andrew, so it's going to be fascinating to see how this one goes on the remaining couple of laps. Plenty of battles still to be settled out there.
There'll be 2 more laps for Josh Ladd to close out this race, this round. The F3 series sponsored by Simutec and the championship sponsored by G3 Pro and Simply Catnip. Michael Preston seems to have got back on top of things here. He's just got a bit more of a gap now this time. Some 7/10 of a second or there or thereabouts. He won't have to defend up to the Remus curve this time around. Brian Hamilton asking, has Preston cooked his front tyres? Maybe so. Chris Hansen trying to shape up a move on Steve Hicks now. The two of them came together at Monza a few weeks ago. Hansen looking to the outside. Is he going to have that run around the outside? No, he's lost the grip. That's what happens when you get out at the marbles. But he's got good drive, very good drive off of Remus curve, and the Simply Catnip car goes past Steve Hicks brilliantly there out of the Remus curve. But Hicks is going to fight back here. Matthew Whitefoot behind is just thinking, please don't trip over one another. I'm on for a C2 win here. Could just get to the end of this race clean. Hicks has got the position once more. He's got work to do around the outside through Roush curve. Has got it done, but it's going to run wide perhaps. It's just been brilliant racing throughout the night here at the Red Bull Ring. And it's not over yet. Josh Ladd is on to the last lap of the race. We'll keep an eye on that fight between Hicks and Hansen, which is still going on. Hansen to the outside, has gone round the outside there beautifully on Steve Hicks, and that is good for 8th position.
Absolutely beautiful racing once again from these Dallara F3s, and now Whitefoot has a think about it in turn 1. That's not what you... fair play, Matt. That's bolder than what I would do when I'm leading the class.
He's probably thinking like, I trained you. I gave you all that time at Le Mans, and this is how you repay me? Let's talk about Josh Ladd, though. It has been another really, really remarkable season in the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. And it just seems at the moment, whatever he steps in, he wins. Even a give it a go Cardiff University student club session that I saw on Cardiff's Instagram earlier on today. Josh Ladd coming into the final corners to win for the second time here tonight in the Red Bull Ring, to win round 11 of the championship, to take that prize from Simutec Technologies at the trip to Milton Keynes in the free driver training. There's a question whether he needs it, because Josh Ladd is the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing champion. He does it again in dominant fashion here at the Red Bull Ring. Michael Preston takes second place. Third place is going to be Alex Mitchell in the sprint race. A brilliant run from him tonight. Patrick Pischke is going to be on the podium at least overall with fourth place. Fifth for James Montgomery. There is Matthew Whitefoot across the line in, 10th place to take the C2 win. Now the points are going to be tallied up. Now the abacus is going to be coming out, because we don't know who's taken the title in C2 for strongest F3 C2 driver of the year. Great scrap this over the line between Tom Edwards and Cameron Watson. So just to review, in terms of C2, it was Whitefoot in 10th, Dawson in 11th, Fremont in 13th, Kemping 14th, Powell in 15th. That's a recovery, Howard, that might be enough for Christopher Powell, considering he had a strong first race, to be the winner in C2 for the F3 series and be the second driver to go to Milton Keynes, to Simutec Technologies in their studio, and have that free driver coaching session. The end of F3 season celebrations commence, but let's talk about Josh Ladd. Really, really dominant tonight, and kind of follows up the performance that he had at Monza last week as well, to be a fully deserving champion.
Absolutely, mate. As we get the confirmed result here, absolutely stellar season from Josh Ladd. He's very, very rarely put a foot wrong throughout this series. The consistency has been so difficult for everybody else to live with. And we saw it in abundance tonight, didn't we? A fantastic example of Ladd just taking these rounds by the scruff of the neck, and brilliant, brilliant campaign. And it's a legitimate question as to who can take the fight in the future.
How do we slow him down?
Oh, this is it. Yeah, maybe we should give everybody else active suspension. I don't know, but no, brilliant season from Josh Ladd, and very impressed. The Class 2 stuff, though, mate, is also highly entertaining. It's a great night for Matthew Whitefoot, but we genuinely don't know what the situation is in there, just because it's so brilliantly close.
Indeed, we'll keep on the air until we've got the result. There is the race 2, the sprint result. What's going on here between Powell and Hale? Are they having a reversing race up the hill? And hello to my old housemate, Matt Calvert. Says, guess they don't have to worry about fuel left in the car and tyre deck when virtually racing. No, they do. They do indeed. Particularly the tyre deck around here has not gone well for Christopher Powell. Testing the rear crash structures. What is happening here with Matt Hale?
Do you know what? He's doing a decent job there. That was a decent effort. Apart from the fact that he didn't make the corner. But, you know.
Oh, he's got lost. He's done a Latifi. He's saying, I'm not quite sure what happened with the car there.
Indeed.
The car's absolutely fine. It's the drive.
I'd like to clarify as well, Andrew. Hopefully it's not too soon for me to tell the world this. But we do intend to be awarding full points this evening for this round. Just thought I'd clarify that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, Matt's having a bit of a wobble here as he goes down to Josh Gold. Matt meant after the race doing donuts and burnouts. Yeah, burn them good. They're all going in the virtual bin afterwards. There's a corner there, Matt. Oh, no, he spun it. Oh, and he's hit it in the wall. It was all going so well. If you've enjoyed the stream tonight, do make sure that you leave a like before you head out. In terms of DDMM content, we've got more from Rock Cup next week. So we'll be at the Super Final at Lonato in Italy. And I know there's been a couple of people asking about are the endurance videos coming back. We are trying, but then we have things like Saturday. If you ever wondered, ladies and gentlemen, how long the GoPro mounts, particularly the clevis between the bit that you stick in the slot on the carts, the bit the bolt goes through. Let's say that 2.5 years, everybody. If you use one for 2.5 years, as Matt Hale finishes his evening fantastically there, it will material fatigue, and your GoPro, whether it's got the tether on or not, will fall off the cart. Don't worry, we got it back, but we didn't get a video. I'm padding because I'm waiting for a result from Mr. Hicks. Oh, it's there. Fantastic. It's just loading up. The suspense is incredible. Let's go through, and I'm going to have to tally the points up in my head. 26th place, Charlie Summers, 123 points. Sam Dimolo, 25th on 188. These are within the round points. These aren't championship points, just to be clear. Matt Hale, 24th on 192. Not a good night for Matt's hopes in C2 overall for the whole season. Ian Sumner, 23rd on 193. JJ Aston on 193.5. That is even still with full points for this format. Don't think we've gone in that direction. Matthew Cockram was 21st on 200. 20th, Tom Kemping on 201.5. 1 point behind Nathan Maximin there on 202.5. James Fremont, difficulties tonight on 205.5, finishes in 18th. Murray Adams next up on 208 in 17th. 214 points for Tom Dix there in 15th. Sam Sanders on 215.5 in 15th. Not a good night for the championship leader. Well, championship leader no more, of course, after tonight's result for Josh Ladd. Next up, Mike Hart in 14th on 217.5. And then we find our first podium driver in C2 for the night in 13th place, Christopher Powell. Now, that's a good score, but is it enough to win the C2 Formula 3 Series? Tom Edwards was 12th. Not a C2 driver there on 219.5. Actually in the tiebreaker, which goes to our driver second in C2 tonight, Andrew Dawson. So Andrew Dawson finishes in 11th place. I'm sure Hicksy's doing the points, but I'm pretty sure that is not a big enough swing towards Andrew Dawson for him to overhaul Christopher Powell in the ranks for C2 in Formula 3, sponsored by Simutec Technologies. But we're not done yet, because where is our winner in C2, you may ask? Well, they're not 10th, because 10th was Adrian Goodwin on 220. They weren't 9th, which was Chris Hansen on 221. They weren't 8th, because that was Cameron Watson on 226.5. We find our C2 winner for the night in 7th place. Matthew Whitefoot finishes in 7th place overall in the round on 228. 6th was James Montgomery on 234.5. Steve Hicks in 5th on 235. Alex Mitchell finishes 4th for the whole round across those two races on 238. Patrick Pischke is on the podium in 3rd on 243. Half a point behind Michael Preston there in 2nd on 243.5. But our runaway winner for the round, and also now champion for 2022 overall, irrespective of what happens in the remaining 2 rounds of the year, Josh Ladd on 254. And I've not quite had confirmation yet, so I'm not going to say it yet on what the C2 F3 situation is. Howard, what do you make of that result?
It's an interesting one, Andrew. Some people have had some very crucially strong nights. Some people have had some interestingly troublesome nights. It's been a tough old campaign tonight, I think, for Sam Sanders. Is a name that we know he's a good driver, but difficult there. But I mean, let's be clear here. Drop scores tend to mean they make it mathematically more likely that it will go down to the wire. Slightly, and Josh Ladd's wrapped this up with 2 rounds to go, and that is a highly impressive thing to behold. I think we've said it already, but massive round for Matthew Whitefoot.
Huge.
Brilliantly done. And as you say, you know, one of these drivers who has really come through the ranks, up through the ranks this season. As you say, Hicksy must have been looking over his shoulder then going, I built you up. I created the force of nature that you are. But no, brilliant stuff. Brilliant to see him taking the fight to people tonight. And a well-deserved result in Class 2.
I'm just going through. I'm going to declare it like they do on the US elections. So if I am wrong, I do apologise. But I am pretty certain that Christopher Powell has done it in C2. He's got a score. Well, he had a score of 176 points before tonight. And well, the fact that he is only going to have dropped 6 points in relation to Matthew Whitefoot. The lead that he had over Matthew Whitefoot at the start of the night was 20 points. That'll have become 14. And as mentioned, he had, of course, Andrew Dawson missed round 2, so couldn't win it. So yes, Christopher Powell has only been beaten by one driver here tonight who could have beaten him in the F3 series. And that driver was 20 points behind at the start of the night and has only gained 6. That means that Christopher Powell is going to have that free driver coaching session on the day he got married as well, from Simutec Technologies. And big thanks to Simutec Technologies for getting involved, and thank you to Callum and the whole team down there for supporting the championship. Very much look forward to seeing Chris and Josh enjoy those sessions. They should be very good, and we'll try and see if we can get along for that as well to see how they get on, because it's not too far from DDMM HQ. Right, before we go, couple of public service announcements for you. As we say, next week is all about Rock Cup here in the world of DDMM. I'll be there from Wednesday onwards, before Thursday and Friday the heats and qualifiers, and then the final, which you will be able to watch wherever you are in the world on the live stream on the Saturday. So do tune in for that at Double Dash MM across your social media networks for everything related to that: Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Following weekend is when we're back in Club 100 action. We'll be at Ella Park. We'll be doing the Double Dash Double Duty endurance on the Saturday, sprints in a commentary form on the Sunday. It's going to be wet. I said it on the stream when I talked to JV. JV wants a wet round because, of course, he spent too much money on fuel this year, apparently.
That point does depend on how much carnage there is of other varieties.
Yes. But that will be the weekend of the 29th and 30th of October. 2-week break, and then we're back again for the culmination of the Club 100 in real life racing for 2022. Will be at Bookmore Park again, endurance on the Saturday on the 12th of November, and then sprints commentating on the final round, which we're absolutely delighted about on the 13th of November. And judging from how close it is in some of the classes, that's going to be a humdinger. I'm taking you through all those dates because I wanted to get to our next Club 100 iRacing round. That will be on the 16th of November. We will be at Interlagos, and we'll be in the GT3s. It'll be the last appearance of the year for the GT3s. That should be very good. So do join us for that. And in the meantime, do make sure that you've subscribed. Click the notification bell, the like button, and all of that business. Howard, before we check off for tonight, any last words?
As I mentioned at the top of the stream, mate, I wasn't firing on all cylinders today, so I'm very glad that I was able to pull through because we've been rewarded with some fantastic racing. My service announcement I always throw in: if you are struggling to find, or you're unable to find any social media, then head over to double-mm.com, and we've got them all there for you on our homepage.
Very good. Well done to Josh Ladd. He's wrapped up the championship here tonight 2 rounds early. The C2 championship rolls on, though, to Interlagos. We'll see that in a month's time. Thank you very much for joining us here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Enjoy the rest of the week. If we're seeing you at Rock Cup Super Final, if you're one of our Super 1 followers, we'll see you there. If you're one of our Club 100 followers, we'll see you at Ella Park in a couple of weekends' time. Until then, take care and goodbye.